Sea of Thieves, the legend of Monkey Island's first tale has launched, the journey to Mêlée Island. And with such an expansive and widely different tale compared to styles of tall tales we've gotten before, there are tons of commendations for you to get to 100% the tale. Welcome to a complete guide to the first tale of the legend of Monkey Island. Today I'll be walking you through exactly how to complete this very complicated tale and 100% it to get all of the beautiful rewards. If you're here for the Murray tour locations or the memoirs, these are later on in the video, but the video is fully timestamped. Alright, so the first thing you're obviously going to want to do is vote the tale up at any outpost. This can be found near Captain Kate Capsize. The first journal is there and the second and third will be on the bench as and when they release. From there, watch the introduction, sail through the portal and arrive at Mêlée. The first thing you need to do is take in your surroundings. Speak with everyone. There are so many NPCs on this island, and not only do they all offer a valuable story, but they also give you so much direction in terms of what you need to do and where you need to go. Knowledge is key in these tales, but if you're here for a guide because you're genuinely stumped, that's obviously understandable, so let's press on. Throughout the whole tale, your gold dust are the various pieces of 8. This is a currency that you can use on Mêlée, and you'll need it to buy various different items used for the quest and some optional ones for commendations. These randomly spawn, but there are a few guaranteed locations, and a key point to start from is stealing some pieces of 8 from the lookout at Lookout Point. You will need these first. You need currency, it comes in very quickly. Now, getting the pieces of 8 are the most frustrating parts of the tale. So if you're coming here wanting to know where you might be able to find some, if you're just that little bit short, there are some locations which you can try which are generally guaranteed. Inside the cupboard in the jail, inside the cupboard in the kitchen, from the 2 thirsty pirates in the scum bar, on top of the table in the clock tower gear room, in the room with the stairs in the governor's mansion, in the cabinet next to Guybrush in the governor's mansion, and in the footlocker in Guybrush's bedroom in the governor's mansion. But obviously you can't get to the governor's mansion until you have completed pretty much all of the tale. Anyways, if you've just started the tale and you need some pieces of 8, head up to Lookout Point. You won't be able to steal the pieces of 8 from the lookout, so you'll have to distract him. Speak with him and then he'll look away for a second and you can take them. Now that we've covered currency, let's get on with progressing the actual tale. Please note there are lots of different parts to the overall puzzle solution, and they can be done in any order. The order that I'll be sharing with you isn't the order that I personally completed them in, but it's the order that makes the most sense and the order that you'll be able to follow along with the easiest. First, speak with the citizen who can be found just at the entrance to the lower street. He'll tell you he's got a shipment that sunk at the docks, and if we recover it, he'll give us an exclusive ticket to see Guybrush, which of course throughout the tale, this is our goal. We need to find out what happened to him and knock some sense into him. So, first recover the claw hammer from the prison. It's just on the table next to Otis. Then head to the docks. It's past the scum bar and you should see a winch. There are 2 pulleys which you can use to position the winch and then it'll attach onto the crate. Winch it up, then put the crate on the platform just below you. Then you'll be able to use the claw hammer to crack the crate open. Then return the goods back to the citizen. He will then give you a golden meet and greet ticket. The next bit isn't mandatory, but I'd recommend speaking with the guard at the entrance to the mansion. This is just because I think there are some parts of the tale that can get bugged. There was only one bug that I encountered during my playthrough and it was game breaking. Thankfully it was only on the second playthrough when I was recording some music, so it wasn't too bad, but nonetheless it's better to just be safe, so speak with that guard. He will tell you that we need to come back when it's midnight. So we need to fix the clock tower because the clock tower is currently stuck at 10 PM. How are we going to do that? Well, there's someone in the scum bar with a key, but he won't let us steal it. The way we're going to steal it is by putting him to sleep with grog. There's some special grog in the kitchen, but the chef won't let us touch anything in there unless we are an assistant. He says that he recently hired an assistant, so he's got no work, but they never showed up. They were due to collect clothing from the general store, but they've never arrived. So head over to the general store and with your pieces of 8 buy the chef's uniform. Head back and then the chef will greet you as his assistant. Then you'll be able to interact with everything in the kitchen, something you will also need a bit later on. Fill up your tankard with the extra special grog and then take it to the pirate who has the key. Fill up his tankard 3 times and then he will fall asleep and you can steal the key. Head over to the entrance to the clock tower and unlock it. There are 2 doors you'll need to unlock before you make it to the main gear room. There, unwedge the skeletal hand and you'll be able to use the wheel in that room. Turn the wheel to midnight. It'll lock in and then you'll hear some bells once you do that. If you then return to the mansion guard, he'll tell you that he needs his colleague to relieve him before he lets you through. Unfortunately, that's not looking likely anytime soon, so we're going to have to find one ourselves. Start by heading back to the kitchen. There should be a recipe there. We need to make some root beer stewed meat. All the ingredients are in the kitchen apart from the red herring. So chop the onions, chop the leek, put them both in, put the flour in, put the spices in. All of these can be found in the kitchen. Then take the key next to the door, unlock the door, catch a red herring, put the red herring in the pot, and then it should all brew up and you will have the meat. Then head over behind the church. You'll see Walt the guard. There's a short little cutscene if you haven't interacted with Walt previous to this, but then you'll be able to feed the piranha poodles. The poodles will go mental at Walt and attack him. You can then pick up his pieces of 8 and also his gunpowder gummies. Take the gunpowder gummies to the prison. There, insert them into each of the locks. Next, you'll need to purchase the gunpowder fuses for 70 pieces of 8 from the general store. Once you've done this, also insert each of these into the lock. You'll then be able to light them with a lantern and kapow, jailbreak. You've freed Otis and there's important things in each of the 2 cells. In the left cell, you will see Captain Coco, which you can pick up. And in the right cell, you can see the left skeleton arm. Take the left skeleton arm and put it on the skeleton of Walt. You'll also need to get the right skeletal arm, which you got in the clock tower, so go and put that on Walt's skeleton as well. The final bone you need is from Spiffy, the dog in the Scumbar Tavern. Now before we do anything with him, make sure you exhaust all of his dialogue prompts, because speaking with him all 6 times will get you a commendation, a step for 100%ing the tale. From there, go back to the citizen. You will need to purchase the cute monkey toy with pieces of 8. Once you have it, take it back to the dog and then you will get the femur bone. Take the femur bone back to Walt's skeleton and now we're just missing a head. Take Captain Coco, the coconut that Otis had, to the Scumbar. There you'll be able to pick up Murray. You'll be able to trade his spot for Captain Coco. While you're there, make sure to once again speak with Spiffy as his dialogue has now changed that you've given him a plushie. Now you will have Murray, and for a step to 100% the tale, you'll need to take him for a tour around the town. The first place you'll want to take Murray is the jetty behind the kitchen in the Scumbar. Once he remarks on destroying and plundering ships, how tranquil it is, or some other comment, you'll receive credit for taking him to this location. The second place is the Scumbar, so walk around until he mentions something about the bar. The third place you'll want to take Murray is Lookout Point. The fourth, the Low Street. The fifth, the top of the clock tower. The sixth, the general store. The seventh, the alley. The 8th, the church. And the 9th and final place is the jail. Note that sometimes progress may not trigger because Murray will be talking about something else, so you may need to return if his dialogue does not trigger. Once you've done this, place Murray on the skeleton, and then you will have a nice cutscene. Murray will wander up to the guard, and the guard will be relieved, and you'll be able to pass through. Then head into the mansion. Head up the stairs, and then bash open the door. You'll need to knock about 5 times, and then it will finally open up. There you'll see a cutscene with Guybrush Threepwood. Once this is over, turn left and go into the bedroom. From there, you may have to wait a second, but eventually a prompt will come up for you to tear back the bedding. Pick up Elaine's letter, pick up the key, and unlock the box that has root beer in it. Then draw the curtains, and the action of this tale begins. You'll be treated to another cutscene as LeChuck's ship approaches. Head outside and then you'll have a cutscene with LeChuck, where there'll be a very interesting revelation. Then a fight will ensue. Take the root beer bottles and use them to fight off LeChuck's ghost pirate crew. Once you've fought through all of his crew after working your way through the town, the International House of Mojo will open up. Go through there, offer some root beer into the cauldron, and Karina the voodoo lady will talk to you. Now you'll be free to explore and complete any commendations you haven't done yet before you finish the tale. And there's a few things we haven't done yet. The first is you'll need to inspect a poster that you can find either by the docks with the crate or in the Scumbar Tavern. This is the re-elect Guybrush poster. The second thing is you'll need to watch all of the various memoirs if you want to 100% the tale. There are a total of 10 of these spots throughout the tale, and they consist of you sitting on a chair somewhere, and then Guybrush will narrate a particular memory that happened from one of the Monkey Island games. The chairs are easily marked out because there are ink pots around them. You may have gotten some of them when playing through the tale, but in case you haven't got all of them or none of them at all, the spots are as follows. The first is in front of the pirate leaders in the Scumbar. The second in front of the Scumbar on a barrel. The third overlooking the docks. The fourth in the Low Street. The fifth in the general store. The sixth in the alley, the seventh in the jail, the eighth on the roof across from the church, so this is a little more difficult to get to. I'll show it here as you can go up. There's a little hidden passageway, you need to do some parkour onto some roofs, and then you'll eventually get there. The 9th in front of the Governor's Mansion, and the 10th in the Governor's Mansion. The final thing you'll need to do is purchase the History of Mêlée book from the Citizen. This is the third and final item he can sell you, and it costs a whopping 200 pieces of 8. Luckily, the pieces of 8 in the Governor's Mansion should largely cover the costs of this, though you may need to do a bit more exploring if you find yourself short of pieces of 8. And that's it. The only thing left to do is to finish the tale. So speak to Karina in the International House of Mojo, and then the tale will conclude. There you have it, how to 100% the first tale in the legend of Monkey Island, the journey to Mêlée Island. Now I'm sure there'll be a lot of you that have many questions after watching this, so I will do my best to reply to as many as possible in the comments below, as quickly as I can. So if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy or this helped you out, then please do consider leaving a like. This video took a long time to make and had a lot of effort put into it, so your support is greatly appreciated. It really helps out the channel an absolute ton. And subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest Sea of Thieves news as and when it comes out. And while you're at it, why not hit the bell as well so you never miss a single upload. I can't wait for the next Monkey Island tale, and I hope you're just as excited as I am for the next one. Apart from all that though, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.